those citrus powders? We had lemon, lime, orange, mandarin. How delicious I told you they were, but I promised I'd show you how we use them. Today's the day. We're going to make finishing salts, or if you process them a little bit more, they become an ingredient salt, meaning you use them during the cooking process when you're seasoning your food. If you leave them with a coarse salt, they're a beautiful finishing salt for right when you go to the plate. And then we're also doing our citrus sugars, and these are beautiful blends as well. These are not just citrus and sugar. Do we do anything simple like that? No, we don't. So let's do it. We're gonna have the best time. This is easy. Break out your citrus powders. We're gonna have a ball. Let's do it. Okay, so as always, I have printables. They will be linked in the description box below the video, so no need to write anything down or try to remember it, but I'll give you the quick overview so you know what we're making. We're gonna do a citrus spice salt, orange, thyme, and onion, lemon, chili, mint, and the mint, of course, we use our own herbs because we grew them, we dry them. This is one of those opportunities where a lot of the herbs we're using, we're doing our own thyme, we're doing our own marjoram, we're doing our own mint, we're doing our own lavender. These are things that we grow here with intention. Remember I told you in the planning video, the garden planning video, we work with what do we like to eat. We start there and we work all the way backwards out into the garden. And we finish full loop in the kitchen. And that's exactly the point. It's worth all the effort if you're growing things you know you will use. If you make the mistake that, like I did so many times, and I went to the plant stores and I just bought whatever they had, I ended up with a lot of vegetables or herbs or things that weren't my favorite. And I learned my lesson the hard way, though I had to learn it more than once, to make sure that I plan from the pantry backwards. And the dog agrees. Okay, so we've got lemon, marjoram, pepper, and we've got some, I also have dried minced onion and dried minced garlic, also done here in the dehydrator. I do all of this in the dehydrator. I do not have yet a freeze dryer. Someday it's on my list of hopes and prayers, but in the meantime, I do it in the dehydrator and it works. If you don't have any of these things and you need to go to the farmer's market to get your herbs, that works great. Not everybody has acreage to grow everything, and I totally get that. If you can find good, healthy, clean, not sprayed ingredients and run them through your dehydrator, that's great. If you can't, you can use a company like Azure Standard, which is my favorite, where you can get beautiful herbs that are dried and they are not treated, and I trust them. And if I would not tell you to use them if I didn't use them myself, and that's just a simple fact. Okay, so, and the sugars. We've got our sugar blends. I think you're gonna like this. We've got, in one case, we've got vanilla sugar. Remember I told you about that? Where we used sugar and we just stuck our spent vanilla beans in there? You can smell this vanilla sugar from 10 feet away. That's how incredibly powerful this is. Okay, we've got our powders that we made. Look at the color. It's been weeks. Look how they maintain that color. It's just spectacular. Anyway, so we've got sugar, lime, mint. We've got sugar, cardamom, orange. We've got sugar, sugar, orange, and lavender buds. I am so thrilled to finally be able to get enough lavender. And the problem was I was overwatering. How do you like that? Lavender, for the record, like dry feet. I had to move them away from all my other plants because they were still getting water even when I wasn't purposely trying to water them. I was accidentally watering them anyway, and it had a huge effect. The minute you let them go stress out in a corner someplace, like a bill collector's chasing them, guess what? You get lots of flowers. Who knew? And we're gonna do vanilla and orange. Okay, so let's get ourselves all squared away. We also have, we're gonna use that grinder that I broke out last time when we made those powders. Now, if you don't have one of these, it's okay. If you have a mortar and pestle, that works beautifully. It just takes a little longer, but you'll end up in the same place. My dog is upset. Give me one moment. I wanted to show you something. Remember when we were doing the citrus powders, I was so upset I couldn't get blood orange. Guess what I got? I got my blood orange, and these I'm going to do whole fruit and just zest, so the dryer is full, and I'm so excited. I just wanted to show you because I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I got my blood orange. Okay, back to work. Okay, where should we start? Salt or sugar? Let's start with salt. Okay, so I have in here is sea salt, and it's flaked sea salt. Some of these I want to use as finishing salts. Finishing salt doesn't get enough credit. In restaurants, before your plate goes to the table, it's not uncommon to have a beautiful little flaked sea salt that's got some beautiful flavors mixed in that are just finished over the top. It adds that little bit of crunch, and it adds a little extra flavor that is unexpected, or it just picks up on one of the flavors that are already incorporated into the dish. Either way, you end up with this little something special. They're beautiful to look at, and they give you just that little bit of crunch that sometimes a finished dish needs. So we've got the measurements. Don't worry about the measurements. They're going to be included in the printable. We've got our lemon powder. Which one are we? This is our, this is the rosemary that we grew. Rosemary, specifically, I crush it. Even though it's going into the grinder, I crush it to get the oils going because rosemary is a little bit of a tough one, and I want to make sure that I get a lot of aroma. So I give it a little spank around the room before. I don't know why I say these things. I'm so sorry. I even threw myself off with that one. I'm sorry. And minced onion and minced garlic that are all dehydrated. So now to make sure we're going to get a really good blend, I start out in the bowl and I really mix well in the bowl. Why am I not mixing just in the grinder? Because the powder falls to the bottom. And I want to make sure that we're going to get as much flavor as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these really well, and I'm going to pull out half and leave it as a finishing salt, and the other half I'm going to grind. So I end up with a seasoning salt and a finishing salt. Just a few tablespoons at a time because I want to keep it fresh. It takes only a few moments to make. It's worth it to just, every few weeks you make more. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. Give me a moment. We gave this a really good stir because, as I said, the powders are going to want to go right to the bottom. So we really, really give it a stir. And what's happening is, by agitating it so much, the coarse salt is getting completely coated in our citrus powder. And it's sticking. If you look at the difference in color of the salt. We want that. Okay? So now I want some as a finishing salt. So I'm going to just take a few tablespoons from here. And that's our finishing salt. Okay? And then the rest I'm going to put in here. And I'm only doing this because it makes it easier to get into the grinder. Now remember, don't open that. It'll poof right up in your face, and it sounds funny until it isn't. It's up your nose. It's not so cute. Okay. There we go. We have the finishing salt and the seasoning salt. Okay, so that's number one. And we're just going to continue into our next one. I'm not going to worry about the bowl because these are all very similar flavors. We've got our coarse salt. Oh gosh, I can smell it before I even go near it. This is orange powder. Look at the color. This is just, there are no preservatives, no nothing. Look how beautiful. Oh gosh, that's our thyme. This is onion flake and garlic flake, made right in the dehydrator. Same deal. We want to make sure that we get enough agitation so that the flaked salt is completely covered and the powder is sticking to it. And you'll know because it'll change color. Oh gosh, that's beautiful. I wish you could smell this. We have one of those vacuums that chases you around the house. I know they say it's supposed to be a helpful tool. It chases my dogs. It chases me. It runs over my feet. I hate it. I was outvoted. That's why that stupid thing is still here. Okay. So we know that we've gone far enough when we've changed color. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our finishing salt. Make sure you go to the bottom. You want to make sure that everybody gets some of that powder. The powder will try to run away. Okay? And we're going to put the rest in our little decanter. Are you kidding me? The vacuum's about to chase me. I hate this thing. I hate it with my whole heart. Hold on, please. It tried to get me. I'm telling you, it's possessed. Now, it's important that you not just lean on that. You just want it to go a little bit. We don't want to activate heat. We don't want to ruin the natural oils that are on our citrus powder or in our herbs that we took the time to grow and then dry ourselves. Okay? Oh, it's so beautiful. Don't worry, I'm going to get the camera close and we'll show you all of them when we're done. Okay, our next little friend here. This one is, do you like Mexican food? Tacos, fajitas, enchiladas, things like that. Do you like to put a little fancy salt around the rim of a margarita? Who knows? But we've got our salt, our lime sugar, chili powder. This is homemade because we grew the peppers ourselves and ground it, and mint, also grown here. Same deal. Oh my gosh. I mean, the smell is unbelievable. Now, when you put this on chicken, on shrimp, the flavor is monstrous. It is so good. It takes maybe 30 seconds of stirring to make sure that the powder has coated our salt. Oh my gosh, the mint I just dried. I have mint growing in the greenhouse. And so as I'm able to, get a little bit, we keep drying because we can't keep mint around. We go through it. We go through mint in this joint. Okay, same deal. Some for our finishing salt. Now, if you're not the type that's going to use finishing salt, just grind up the whole thing. No problem. It's, we like the fancy stuff around here. And when you're doing it yourself, it is so easy to do. Imagine what it costs to buy all of this. Hey, where'd it go? I got flustered because the vacuum chased me. When you grind it, the aroma is so huge. Okay, and we have our last one. Let's clean this up. And this is the lemon marjoram. Marjoram is a cousin of oregano. So it's got that beautiful flavor. It's considered wild oregano in Greece. And I do grow the Greek variety, and I absolutely love this stuff. I cannot get enough. So there's my marjoram. Here we have black peppercorns, minced onion, minced garlic that are very, very well dehydrated. Now, this one is where we can't use it as a finishing salt because we've got whole peppercorns in here. So we're going to grind the entire batch. If you wanted the pepper really does add something. So if you want to do this as a finishing salt, you just have to use ground pepper. And it can be just cracked. You can, from a pepper mill. It doesn't have to be ground to a powder. You make all these little adjustments, and they're custom to the way you need them. And there goes the color. It just changed. Okay. Somebody's going to ask me, why am I going from the bowl that went up? Sorry. That one cut my throat because when I try to pour it from here to here, it goes from here to here to here and here and here and everywhere, and it'll end up in my hair. Now this one is going to be more than that little dish can take. So I'm going to get a bigger container, but not a huge one. I'm going to get one twice the size of this, an 8-ounce. So there's that one. These are 4-ounce, by the way, in case you're wondering. And that's what I use because they're the perfect size, except for when you're using something that's got the peppercorns in it. If you want to have the finishing salt, as I said, separate your half, but use cracked pepper, not whole peppercorns. Okie dokie. I'm going to bring you down and let you see up close what we just made. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? The finishing salt and the seasoning salt. Absolutely beautiful. The flavor is incredible. And this is the one that we just ground the entire batch. And you leave these right next to the stove so you can use them up. They're fabulous. Now on to the sugar. Okay, so now we've reset to do sugars. This has to be spotlessly clean. If you're going to do both these projects very close together, use a brush because you don't want any moisture to be introduced from here. Okay, so I used 2 brushes to make sure that we are absolutely spotless. That's very important, and bone dry. Okay, same thing for the lid. Okay, so now now I'm using 100% pure cane sugar. I don't use beet sugar in the house at all. It's just a general rule. It is my preference. It's real sugar and it hasn't had anything weird done to it. I have an issue about weird. I should be the only weird thing in my house, except for my husband and my kids. Lime powder. Oh, every time I touch the lime powder, it blows my mind. Mint. Now, you can keep this coarse, just the way I'm doing here, and just really give it a good mix and mix it until the sugar takes on the green. It's going to, you'll see when it just starts to take on, and you'll smell it. If you want it a little finer, run it through your grinder. You can do half and half. I actually leave it this way, and if I want to use it more fine, like in a recipe where it's important to me that it's able to melt. See, this takes a little bit longer to melt. So if I want it to melt and leave no traces behind of a little bit of the grittiness from the sugar, I grind it, okay? So, but what I like to do is I like to store it this way so I have the choice. If you're using a mortar and pestle, just get in there. You want to smell your herbs and you want to smell that lime powder. It does take an extra minute. The sugar takes just a little bit longer to release the oils of the lime powder and the mint. Whoop, there it goes. I can smell it. Oh, wow. I know I sound like I'm crazy. The smell is unbelievable. Oh, gosh. Yum. And we're going to go right back in the jar. Where's my thingy? Thingy. Okay, so we're not going to make I'm going to show you something. Just so I can show you what it will look like. I'm going to do a little bit, just to show you. Oh, you see all those little spots? That's lime and mint all mixed through. That is so beautiful. Okay, and then the rest. let's just get the thingy. Thingy. Where are you, thingy? Oh, there you are, thingy. Okay. Canning funnel. Hey. Okay. Next. Next, we've got our pure cane sugar, freshly ground cardamom, and that gorgeous onion powder. Onion, I said onion. Orange powder. Please don't put onion in there. That would be weird. It'd be my fault, but it'd still be weird. You want to make sure there's no lumps. I love the color. It is so beautiful. Orange cardamom sugar. Stop that. I have issues. I have a little bit, just a little bit on here, and it's driving me out of my mind. Sorry, I tried to save my neuroses for when the camera isn't running. It didn't work out. Okay. Pure cane sugar. Now this is whole, remember we did citrus powder and we did whole citrus. This is the whole citrus. And it, which one did I use in here? I wrote it down. The cardamom. Orange. Hey! Oh, I'm so proud of this. This is lavender. And I am dried lemon. I apologize. It's whole lemon. That was whole lemon powder. This is lavender. Finally, after all this time, success this past year for lavender. The amount of lavender deaths on my watch. Oh gosh. Now, I will say to you that lavender is not my favorite ingredient. I use a lot in our apothecary work, but I tend to find that it tastes like soap, with exception to when it's mixed in a sugar. The sugar backs down that flavor, and all you get is this beautiful floral. It's actually really quite magnificent. But just as like herbe de Provence, I don't enjoy it. I find that it tastes like soap-flavored chicken. In sugar, it's fabulous. Now, I'm pretty sure the whole world will disagree with me, and that's fine. I can take it. I don't enjoy rose water in my savory dishes either. Maybe I'm not fancy enough. Now what I'm doing here is I'm working this quite a bit because I want to break those little buds of the lavender with the granulated sugar. And you're starting to see, I'll bring you closer, you'll see that the buds are starting to open a bit because they're starting to crack, because they're dry. Okay, let me get the camera. Do you see? Let's see if we can move some of this a little bit. Hoping I'm close enough that you can see the little buds are starting to open. And that's just from being bruised a bit in the stirring process. So we've got whole lemon, the whole dried lemon powder, lavender buds, and sugar. Okay, and one of the other things you can do, because we really want to bruise those little blossoms, is we just bang on them a bit to the bottom of the bowl with your whisk. If you put this one in the grinder, which would work great, the problem is that for me, in my opinion, the lavender becomes very, very strong, and I don't enjoy it as much. And it is so beautiful this way. I don't want to ruin it. But if it's like a flavor that you love, then go nuts. I smell it so strongly right now. My gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, and of course, clean funnel. I'm not going to run this through the grinder. Now, as this sits, these flavors will marry. And they will become more beautiful. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Now, of course, we're going to label everything because we have to label. Now, our last one. This one is different. Let me wipe this bowl out. I'm not using water. I'm using a microfiber cloth because we don't want to introduce any liquid whatsoever. Okay, so now, this is vanilla sugar, but this has the whole vanilla beans in it. I'm going to pull them out. Okay, but hey, come back. Now this one, there we go. Because the vanilla beans were in here and they were moist when we put them in, this one has to go through the grinder. And it just take a moment. Okay. Just keep going. Pull the seeds out. Don't worry, it's supposed to be like this. It will be like this. It'll always be like, there it goes. There it goes. Last little bit, and we're done. I've never made my vanilla sugar where it didn't do this. So I always just use the back of the spoon. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to loosen up our sugar. And we're going to grind it. Now this is more than my grinder will hold. I can do this in my Vitamix, which would work fine, but I'm going to stay with what I was using. I'm just going to do it in a couple of batches. This is that's our whole lemon powder. Just give it a quick stir. I'm going to put it into our grinder. Now we're going to go back into the bowl. We're just moving this aside for the moment. There we go. Now we're going to mix. So now we make sure we have no lumps left. There's a couple, so we're just going to get rid of those. The aroma from this bowl is unbelievable. The sugar is so brightly flavored with vanilla. And then the the lemon is coming right up behind it. It is magnificent. Oh, wow. Baking with this, you'll never get tired of it. Okay, where's our spoon? These little bits that we have left, they go back in sugar. No waste. And we're done. We made finishing salts, we made seasoning salts, we made baking sugars that are spectacular. I hope you love these. The aroma in this place is so unbelievable. These last they last a good while, but we didn't make tons so that we can go ahead and just make them again, because over time they would lose their brightness, and we don't want that. We're making them from scratch. We might as well make them as we need them. Having a quart of this, by the time you got even halfway through that quart, that beautiful bright flavor would have diminished, and that's not our goal. Our goal is to have fabulous food all the time, having the ingredients separately stored so we can bring them together and mix them and make them when we need them, just how we need them. Okay, now we've got little bits of vanilla still here. I'm actually going to put the lid right on top of that so that the vanilla continues to flavor and perfume our sugar. We did it. Just because we made some powders a few weeks ago, look what we have in our larders now. We can do this. You can do this. It's great. I hope you love it. These are incredible. And this is only the beginning. There's so many things we can do. From right here, from the powders themselves. It's just the beginning, but it's a good one. I'll see you next time.